Okay. So another point that I wanted to bring up about George Lopez, and looking at his old comedy compared to his new comedy, you can see his mindset has changed because his jokes started to change. His jokes started to more incorporate to like, that's right. We need to teach them that it's okay to be that way, to be like you're bored. Okay, let's explore what you can do instead of be in the negative way. So I noticed that about him, and I think it was this video. Let me get to it. And he probably started learning as he grew. He had to also evolve himself, and maybe he realized he was in this mindset. It's this one, but it was a mixed playlist.
Let me tell you something about this. First of all, let me tell you something.
Okay,
Donald Trump, fuck that Pluto.
He don't like Donald Trump. He don't like Donald Trump.
Sorry, Priscilla.
Sorry, Priscilla. You don't like Donald
Sorry,
Trump.
cover your ears. You know you like Mr. Trump.
And that's fine. He don't like us. So we just.
He said FTP.
No, this is not it. Which one I can't play it? Here it is. Here it is. It's just slow for some reason.
Listen, our kids are kids. You don't baby them. There's a difference because
You're telling me older.
our culture shows us that it's not all compliments. It's not everything you do is amazing. It's not you throw the trash away. Hey, high five. If you have a kid now, you have to pretend like everything that motherfucker does is the best thing you've ever seen. At Thanksgiving, he comes home. Oh my God. Did you trace the outside of your hand? And did you make me a turkey? I did. I did my hand around it and I'm putting it on Facebook. God damn it, I'm sending it to the Washington Post. They'll run it. I gave one to my grandma and said, what's this bullshit? Yeah, make me one like this, all right? Stop using my fucking eyebrow pencil. But you don't have a distorted view of life.
He started changing.
Not everything is wonderful. Sometimes you make mistakes. That's how you learn. You know, kids wake up, the parents are there, good morning. You woke up awesome. You're going to have an awesome day because you woke up awesome. When did our parents compliment us? You take the car out, you scratch it the next morning. Hey, beautiful. Fucking beautiful. You're a genius. I don't know how you did it. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Einstein. Yeah, you're a fucking genius. I didn't know until right now. You scratched both sides of my car. Brilliant. Wish I had two of you right now. So I could choke one and get the other one to rub out the scratch.
I think it kind of got stuck. Oh, it's already over. So I just noticed that his comedy changed over the years. And I'm sure it was because his mindset changed.
Feedback too.
Feedback as well, but also him going into being a father and wanting better for his children and realizing, damn, I had these conditions in my life that fixed my mindset. Even though he still was successful, and you can probably still be successful in a fixed mindset, but could you be even better? You probably could.
Correct.
Yeah, but once you change these.
It's kind of like what the book says. All the what ifs. What could I have done? Don't leave them out there. Try it.
How? It was the how questions for me. How can I have done that better? How can I fix that? How can I do better? Yeah.
Yes, for sure. So, and I found this on the internet about, the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. The fixed mindset just says, if you have talent, you have it. If you don't, you can't, you're not going to acquire it, right? When growth mindset says, no, you can practice and get better at something, and then you will form that skill that becomes then it'll be like your talent. You know, people that like to sing may not be 100% really good, but then they go to voice lessons and they practice and they practice, and then they can hit those notes on point, and now they have a talent, right? But they weren't, you can't say, like, when the book, it does say, like, not, some people aren't just not born with a talent. I think she says nobody's born with a talent. It's something that you have to work for, you have to put effort towards, right, to get it. And either I'm smart or I'm dumb. No, you can grow your intelligence for more and more and more, right? So I don't like changes. The growth mind says I embrace challenges, and I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to know.
I'll give you a real good example. When I used to work at Chase Bank, in the department that we worked in, we would receive all the branches checks that were deposited for the day downtown, and we would process them and send them out according to whatever bank they belong to. So we had a real long machine. It's called a 3890. And basically you would feed the machine all the checks, and this machine, it reads the microline, which is the bottom line of a check. It'll read that, and you would set it up in a program where it would go into this pocket, all the checks that are going up to the northeast part of the country, or all the checks that would go up to the southwest, down the southwest, northwest, wherever it goes, you would divide up the pockets. And then if you wanted to make it even more exact, you could rerun those pockets and make it into, okay, northwest area of town, just this bank, just this bank, just this bank. So it was a machine that had been around for a while, and then something new came into place. It was called imaging. So instead of you just running it through the machine, you had to sit there and read the images. It was something brand new. There was a part of the department in there where the ladies would fix some of the issues, and a lot of the older people hated it because they were stuck in their mindset that this is not good, I'm gonna fail. They were scared to fail more so than anything, as opposed to learning from it. Because, man, all that technology we put into place, it's a technology that's being used now. So they were stuck in that same mindset. And if you didn't grow and learn that stuff, you're gonna be gone. You're gonna be gone. So I had to push those older ladies to learn the stuff, get to know it, and excel at it, or else they're gonna be gone. I said, hey, you have to be you have to take it on and embrace change, because change is good. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit there because it reminded me of everything that we're talking about here.
For sure. And this one is a big one for me, because I think the one that says feedback, failure means I'm learning. But for my personality, I could take it hard, right? Because of like, I didn't do something wrong. Like, I will beat myself up on things that I didn't do right? Or something that didn't go the way I planned it, and I feel like it's a failure, but I shouldn't. I have started learning, like, to take it and say, what did I do and what could I have done differently for a better outcome? So that way I can be ready for next time. So I am switching my mindset of a growth, mindset, because I feel that I have some of the fixed mindset in me. Doesn't mean I have to stay there. And then feedback helps me grow. I'm still dealing with this part because feedback for me, sometimes when they critique you, it can be hard. And then you start thinking and you go through, I would go through a lot of different thoughts. For instance, we just took the TRLP course last Wednesday, and it was a spokesman class about how to speak in public and so forth. So we had to do impromptu speaking. Like, okay, everybody's gonna get up, they're gonna have 90 seconds, and you're gonna tell us who you are. Like, let's meet. And it's just like, okay, get up, your turn, Priscilla. You have nothing prepared, right? You're like on the spot. And can you imagine the amount of nerves that come over you? You're in a room maybe about 40 people total with our instructors and the classmates and so forth. So we had to get up and do this. Peo did too.
Mhm.
And then,
For him.
No, Erica did way better than I did.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
and some people, well,
Right?
yeah, yes. So everybody did it. 38, there was 37 people total that went up and did it. And then we went to lunch and then they came back and then they recorded you. And they replayed the videos because she wanted, okay, Priscilla, look at you. What do you think?
Oh, my
Right? So you have to
God.
critique yourself, but then the classmates critique you. And so I had a critique that bothered me and it kind of stuck with me, but I'm trying to take it to grow from it. So this one girl said that that when I'm speaking, I shrug my shoulder a lot. And I did notice that I fidget a lot. I was like, oh my God, I can't stop fidgeting. Probably. I'm like, what are you doing? But we were we were behind a thing. What's it called? What did they call it? Like a podium.
Yeah.
But even though my hands there, I'm fixing this. I was fixing this. I don't have a tie, but I had that thing with my name tag on it. And when I'm looking, I'm like, stop moving. I'm thinking to myself, but I was able to get my speech under control. I was able to get my breathing under control, and I was able to not talk 1,000 words a second, because I usually can do that. But then I noticed that I switched it to fidgeting. So, but the girl said that her name, well, I won't say her name, but this classmate said that, Erica, you need to own your story. It seems like you're unsure of what you're saying. And she says that I have like a shrug. And I'd never noticed that I may have like a shrug. And when I was answering her back, she's like, see, you're doing it right now. And I was like, oh, fuck. But it could be a tick, and then I remember my sister she shrugs all the time when she's talking. I'm like, do I?
never noticed it.
I never noticed it, but it could be a nerve or I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it's anxiety though.
It could be anxiety, but she,
I have Tourette's.
but she said that I did it right there in the moment when I was I don't know what I said back, but no, I didn't. I know, because I was open to hear it, because I want to hear it, but then I don't, I feel like she's kind of said like, you're unsure of yourself, like your confidence level isn't there. And I was like, but I didn't feel that way. But body language speaks another.
Going
Mhm.
on that, the feedback that I was given was that I try to hide painful situations behind jokes.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, that's fucking totally wrong. I said, I'm just fucking, in my head, I'm like, I'm pain, I just fucking funny all the time.
Mhm.
Like she said, maybe you're trying to get attention by, I'm like, I just do it.
Yeah. So, but bottom line, it's like I had to take it, dissect it. I was mad at her for a little while. And then I'm like, I need to get over it, because I know Peo is going to be funny all the time, but I know Peo. But this is a good learning experience to know when you're meeting a person for the first time, you need to be aware of your facial expressions and your body language. And if she doesn't know me really well, because she really doesn't, then it's good to know that I'm doing certain things. For instance, there's a girl in the she's one of the facilitators. I think her name is Ashley, the other one with the short hair, kind of bigger, heavyset girl. Teresa. Have you ever looked at her facial expressions?
He's kind of.
Oh, no. Next time, look at her. The first time I saw her, I was like, why does she keep doing? She's just like, oh my God, her facial expressions, when someone's talking, she does it even more. And I was like, damn, it comes off like, ew, like, what are you saying type. I was like, look at her. She did it again. Every single time I look at her, because I was like, it's just her. She does, but she doesn't realize that she's doing it. That makes her unapproachable. You see, so if I'm doing something that makes me look weak,
why do you think it was so hard for me to come up to you and talk to you?
I didn't mean to. Anyway, so feedback helps us. Feedback helps us grow. Change the subject. Feedback, she had to go through my sister to get to me. So feedback helps us grow. So we shouldn't take it as a critique. And that is something that if y'all know my story, I didn't want to take his criticism on when he first came to work with me. I was like blocked. in my fixed mindset. But when I let that wall down, I let him in, I learned that I could improve myself and I could be doing, and my job could be more enjoyable because it wasn't as, yes, because it's constructive, right? Now, there could be negative, and take the negative and dissect it and find out. So I think definitely switching, like when she first said it, I immediately reverted to my fixed mindset. And then I'm like, no, I need to listen to this, you know? So feedback is a personal attack. That's basically how I took it.
I got something to add real quick, because before I forget this, Erica already said it earlier, that she going back through the stuff and applying it to her everyday circumstances that come up. I read more than the 2 chapters because I was ahead of everyone. But what I did today is I went back and reread the first 2 chapters, and I realized, okay, I understand this. I understand the book, but I'm still not applying what I'm reading. So to save y'all from having to go through that, I'm gonna ask y'all to embrace these 2 mindsets. And when you have a difficult situation, something that didn't go right for you, go back to the book immediately and say, okay, what mindset am I going to use? Am I gonna use the mindset of, oh, poor baby me, and go hide in a corner? Or am I gonna use this mindset of growth and find out what I did wrong, what I could have done better, what I can learn as a takeaway from this experience? Because I read the book and I was like, damn, this is a really good book. And I found that my mindset is 50-50. If some items I could do this, some items I do the fixed mindset, some I do the growth mindset. And that applies to, I think, a bunch of us, on things that we're comfortable with. It's those things that we're not comfortable with that we need to use the growth mindset for. So even though you're reading it, you have to make sure you're applying it, not just reading it, guys.
Mhm.
That's just my quick take on that.
No, for sure.
100%,
Yeah. So how do you feel as far as your mindset is? Are you somewhat fixed and somewhat growth?
Yeah, I feel like I'm 50-50, but after hearing both of y'all thinking y'all are 50-50, I'm like, well, maybe I'm more fixed then, because I thought y'all were just, in my mind, how I saw y'all is like growth.
Mhm.
I didn't expect to hear that, y'all are also 50-50. So it helps me to also be able to transition more into the growth, knowing that, things are gonna come, so I'm gonna have to adjust and go with the change, but a better change.
And I'll piggyback behind what you just said. And something stuck out to me in this book already in the beginning of it. And I'm going to read it to y'all because it's very, very much at the beginning of the book. Yes, a whole organization can be a mindset. And that's why you see the growth mindset in us, because that's what we're bringing to this company. A whole organization mindset. We're instilling those things in y'all because we believe in y'all. And that's why we do these things, all right? I see a lot of things that we're doing already that we know we're doing the right way. Mindset. My mindset was, hey, we need to get some experienced agents in here to help us as well. And that was the wrong mindset for me. And I've already fessed up to them because I was pounding that on them. I said, Erica, I think we already have what we need. We have great agents that we believe in, that they believe in themselves and are going to grow with us in the company. That's why newer agents like y'all are instilling the growth mindset for y'all.
And to go back to the, you thought we had just a complete growth mindset. It's been a process. Sometimes I feel that even though we both have 50-50 mindsets, I can grow off of his growth mindset and he can grow off of ours. For instance, when we first started working together and growing the business, we would put together events and so forth, and Peo at the last minute would say, oh, what if we do this? What if we do that? And Nilda and I were like, who's gonna do all that? Who's gonna organize this? And one thing I learned from Peo, he was like, it's easy. It's easy. So I was like, instead of me fighting that, I was like, I'm going to incorporate that. And I'm gonna say, yes, it's easy. So I started putting that into my head, creating that mindset that, yes, it's a hard challenge. If something's too hard, give up, right? Like, oh, we're not gonna do it. No, I'm gonna, even though it's frustrating, I'm gonna figure it out how to incorporate that great idea into our event or into our brokerage or to whatever that was. So, and it works because I don't no longer feel like, oh, he's just giving us extra work and we're gonna have to do the ones that do the calls or whatever. So that kind of like just wiped it away. And it was part of our growth together because that's the whole reason to work in a team, because a team is more powerful than a one person, right? And one other thing is if you succeed, I feel threatened on the fixed mindset. And that's hard. That's really, really sad that we would think that way. But even in the George Lopez comedy, he says that we're not good with other people's success. Like when say, hey, so-and-so got that, job over there, that marihuano, he got that job, he says that in one of his skits. We can never be happy for other people that are successful. And that is a really ugly mindset to have. Instead of saying, man, that's badass, I wonder how he got there. Like, I would like to talk to him and find out more about him, right? Be inspired, and us as in our own success, be inspired by our own success. Like also when you analyze your negative, analyze your positive. What did I do to get here, man? It felt great. I want to do it again. So I'm going to go back and look at my challenge and see, oh, this is what I did. I'm going to just multiply that and do it more, right? And I'm going to keep trying when I'm frustrated. So I really love these mindsets, and I think they have a lot to give. And before I stop talking, because I know I can ramble on and on and on, I made a few notes. One thing what happened? The dog, he's snoring. Baby dog. So in our TRLP group, one of the classmates went up, and his name is Kian, and he is from like some other city out west, and he's not from the HAR group, but he had to come and take it with us. And there's something that he said that just stuck with me that I really love. He is 24 years old. He's already a broker. He started in real estate when he was 19 years old. And he starts his off that with this sentence, I'd rather be the worst player on the best team than the best player on the worst team. What does that tell you? His mindset is 100% growth. I don't want to be the best because there's nothing, did I already hit my ceiling? I have nothing more. I want challenges in my life. I want to keep learning and do more. At 19, he purchased his first property. Sounded like he did it all by himself. I would love to know more about his background and history, like his family life and all that. But he purchased his first property at 18. He went and fixed one room and lived in it. And he says it wasn't easy, but I continued to fix up the rest of the property. And I guess eventually he sold it or whatever, but he started that, right? But for him to say that I don't want to ever be at the ceiling and never be able to have any more challenges, like what's the purpose, right? And that reminded me of my song, Eminem, Higher. Every time I think I hit my ceiling, I go higher than I've ever been before because I can still go more. I don't want to ever just be there and do nothing. Like I want to always learn and always be more. And so this young man, 24 years old, in a room of, we're all ages, but he's the youngest by far. He's accomplished, he's a broker already. And he's already has his own team of agents. So his growth mindset has taken him so far. I would love to know who coached him, like how did he get there? Like that's awesome, right? It could be his parents. It could have been that they just put him in these conditions that George Lopez so dogs, like you woke up awesome today, and he just had that mindset. Who knows? But I'm gonna reach out to him and I wanna know more about him. Yeah. I really do. But with that, I'm going to turn it over because I didn't finish the whole the second chapter. So Peo, I know you've read a lot.
Yeah, and basically what I was going to do is just go kind of through the book as, the beginning, going through it. One of the, starting towards the beginning of the book, I'm gonna go back to page 6 as an ending note there on page 6, because I think that's very good page for us to end with our day. Let me go to
And I want to hear from Priscilla and I want to hear from all of us.
mhm.
I did like this book a lot better though than the one.
The,
So far, I mean, so far, I really like it, yeah, compared to the one.
Mhm. And going back to that higher, there's a story that I did hear in there about Michael Jordan and how you get treated when you're
Oh, yeah.
that, you know, so successful, right? And everybody wants it and everybody, and they don't want that. They're like, you make everything too easy for me. Like, why are you always kissing my butt? Like, there's no more challenge to gain that position, right? Because they're already there. And I just got that from that story in the book about Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I guess the first thing that we could talk about real quick, touch on briefly is the puzzle pieces. Do y'all remember the story about the puzzle pieces and the kids? You know, the kids kind of take this persona on early in life. If they feel that they're failing, they're gonna stop. Some of them are gonna stop because they want to do the easy stuff. Others are diving in, they say, holy shit, I'm gonna sit here and I love challenges and I'm gonna figure it out. I think some of that has to go back to how you raise your kids as well. We gotta challenge them. We have to challenge them as our kids. Say, hey, no. One of the things that Nilda and myself always did to our kids, if they started something, we did not allow them to quit it until they finished the whole year. Okay, no, you're gonna stay in there and you're gonna stay in there the whole year, and then you can quit after next year, but you're gonna stay in there. They would want us to pull them out of stuff in the middle, right when it was starting. I said, hell no, you signed up for it, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna figure it out, you know. I know Ileana wanted to give up dancing in her last year. I said, nope, it's a 4-year thing. You're gonna do your last year. One of the other things, like Benny wanted to stop playing baseball. I think it was at 9 years old. Said, nope, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna keep playing and you're gonna learn. And you know, he got through that rough year and he ended up playing all the way up to high school. So it's something that we have to instill in our kids, and we see them where it's okay for them to fail. We just have to encourage them, you know, and that's why I think this book is really good, is because, you know, as I'm reading here about the puzzle pieces, y'all are the puzzle pieces, you know, for the organization. We don't care if you fail. We are here to make sure that we correct y'all and help y'all grow. You're very vital to this organization, and we have the correct pieces right now. You know, we're gonna add more pieces to it, and our company is just gonna grow. You are gonna see your income grow, but y'all have to believe. You know, just like the last get together we had. You have to believe. All right, you have to believe. We have the right puzzle pieces. You're gonna see. Y'all have to take on the, yes, I love that puzzle piece. Let me get in here and figure it out. That's the mindset you have to instill in yourselves. Anybody have anything on that? Or Alex or Priscilla?
Yeah,
Anybody?
absolutely. So I feel like this book was super intriguing to me because if anything, I think as long as I have my mindset under control, I can do anything I put my mind to, because that's the biggest thing. And especially when it was talking about the fixed versus the growth mindset, I feel like y'all are saying culturally, we're raised to kind of be fixed in our own kind of the way you're taught to do things. And in our culture, it is that like, and I imagine it varies from house to house, but my mother was very like strict, very, oh no, mijo, don't do this, don't do that. But my dad gave me that growth mindset, and he would say, dude, let's just keep at it. Let's just keep doing it. So for instance, I started doing gymnastics since I was like 3 years old, right? And I would stay on the mat and learn how to do a flip all day, like until I was able to get it. And my biggest, I guess, reward was showing it to to my dad mainly, and getting like a sense of I guess accomplishment from that. And I guess that really stemmed into me. I'm always down to do anything, you know, especially like if I'm given an opportunity and I feel like, hey, if I put my mind to it, I really think I could accomplish that and do well and kind of outshine. I try to take on those opportunities as much as I can, even if I don't, you know, even if I fail and I don't do well. I really, it's that mindset that I always had growing up with my dad. I feel like he really instilled that growth mindset in me to want to keep pursuing something that I'm interested in. And just like you're saying, Peo, where like they put me into things and what I didn't want to come out of them. Like I actually felt bad sometimes because my parents are paying money and I felt like I can't come out of this now because, you know, they've invested so much in me that I have to succeed in it now. So with that, I really think through my adolescence and everything, I developed a bit of a growth mindset, and I'm not afraid to fail, and I'm not afraid to take on chances. And although, you know, I may get criticized and stuff, I feel like I take that pretty well. And if anything, I don't think, I think I've developed pretty thick skin to where someone can tell me like, that was terrible and you really need to work on that. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, that was terrible. And I do need to work on that. You know, I feel like, this book really intrigues me in that way, and that embraces that growth mindset. And finally, like I'm able to read about kind of like the psychology of it all and see like where it's all stemming from. But yeah, it's been great. I, like you said, that whole puzzle pieces thing again stems back to school. They put me in various different things. I was doing gymnastics, I was doing music, I was doing soccer, and in everything, I did not quit it all until like I knew I was semi decent in it, like I could excel in it. So yeah, I think I've translated that into every, or I try to translate that into every aspect of life as well. And I feel like I mentioned before, if I have my mindset together, I I really don't think I can fail. Uh, like I don't think failure is a bad thing, or like I don't see myself doing bad or turning away from that task, if that makes sense. And I feel like this book really kind of outlines that, and I've found it very interesting. And the fixed versus the growth mindset, especially because, like Erica was saying, and with that example that she gave about the group, where they just put you on the spotlight and you just kind of got to go, and they're basically doing that so that you can see your flaws and you can then correct them in the future. But it comes with that, oh man, you're getting criticism, and it's how you take that criticism, right? And that's kind of the fixed versus growth mindset, where it's like, okay, am I gonna get hurt by this criticism, or am I gonna grow with it and actually instill the criticisms and actually use them to better, you know, my in that case it was the speech. I I think it's great. I've been liking it so far.
Yeah. And going back to the group, that same classmate just sent out one for, hey, let's do girls' night out. And then myself was like, nope, I ain't going to that. But then I was like, no, I should go to that.
Yeah.
I should go and speak to her a little bit more, because this is a person that I did not dislike in the beginning. I really like her. I think she's freaking cool as hell. But then when you start talking to her, she tries to immediately try to fix you. It was not the first time she did that. She's done that to me before. Like she's trying to analyze me and fix me. And I'm like, I'm not asking for any help. But you know what? God puts people in your people in your life, and things that are being said. Maybe I need to hear it. Maybe she's the vessel that God is putting there. And I know I'm getting kind of out of more into the religious or spiritual part, but maybe so. And maybe I just need to listen to her. Who knows?
And I also
But
feel like, you know, nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to have something. She probably has a tick too, that if you were to mention it, it would do the same thing that it's doing to you, or like it like bothers her, you know, like I feel like nobody's perfect. And, you know, everybody has their own little thing that they need to work on. I definitely do think so. And, you know, just how I don't want to say it's affecting you, but just how it's bothering you, I feel like, you know, she probably has those things too. And just, you know, it's almost an insecurity. And again, it comes back to that mindset. So do you really look at it that way, and that, oh, who are you to talk? You know, like that's how I always try to see it. It's like, who are you to say anything to me? Like, you probably have some stuff too that, you know, if I was to mention it, you would probably want to fight me or something. You know, I don't know. I
We
feel like
should
that's just how it is with people.
I believe so. And I should be more, I want to turn my mindset more into, have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Barney on there, and I should be like,
Barney.
we should all be like Barney. Challenge accepted, right?
Yeah.
Remember when he said that? Anything that they say out there that's like crazy, he's like, yes, challenge accepted. They're like, no, we didn't mean for you to really do it. He's like, no, I'm gonna do it, right? And he would do it. And he always had this thing about him that he's gonna do things that
Was
are
that the one that
crazy.
played the doctor?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
he's so, I love his character in How I Met Your Mother. So,
Doogie Howser.
Yeah, Dewey.
mhm, mhm.
He's always sleeping with moms and stuff like that. That's all I remember.
He's crazy. Oh, well, that's what one of his challenges is to get those girls, whoever he wants.
Mhm.
It's a challenge. So, and he accepts failure. When
Mhm.
they turn him down, they're like, okay, and then he'll try back again, you know, so until he gets it. So he's definitely one to learn from, even though
Mhm.
people could see him as like, you are really out there, dude. So
Does anybody else have anything to add?
Well, I agree with the whole like fixing, like for instance, me and my dad never showed emotions. So I grew up that way. I was very just like shut off to showing emotions. I would just deal with it whenever I got home. And whenever I got in a relationship with Carlos, it was hard because he couldn't communicate with me. And he's like, I can never talk to you. You're so closed off. And when he met my dad, it was funny. He's like, that's why, because he sees my dad as just like a hard shell. And so I was in a fixed mentality and I didn't want to get out of it, but he helped me. So now I communicate more instead of just like whatever and shutting him off. So it's like, it's part of
That's growth. That's growth.
criticism and growing. Yeah. And Layla, it's funny that you said that because Layla is that kind of person. I accept the challenge. And she wasn't before because when she first did gymnastics, when she was in gymnastics in the Heights, she loved it. But when we moved to Cyprus, she didn't like it because it's more competitive. So she was like, Mommy, I can't do it. I don't want to be in it. And I'm like, yes, you can, just try it. And so, and it, again, comes with fixed mentality because my dad's more of like, why would you do that? You're going to break a bone. And I'm like, why not? You know, like there's gymnasts who do this as a profession. Like it's just, you have to learn the correct way to do something. And so my dad went to go see her and he was impressed because Layla is like, at the moment she was like 5 and she was going up the rope. She was climbing the rope climbing. And I'm like, it helps also with physical growth because she's getting stronger. And it helps her also because she was a very insecure child. So going from her wanting to quit and then COVID happened, she had like a 2-year break. So then putting her back in, she has put all into it. Now she's like very competitive. She wants to be the best. And it's funny because now she's competing in her little class team that she's in. And now she's like second into being moved up and competing more. So I told her, I was like, you see, it's like, yes, you probably needed a mental break, but that mental break gave you that realization of like, hey, this is something I like. I'm finally back in it. Let me put my all into it. So now my dad supports her too. And he's like, okay, maybe she won't break a bone. No, if she's learning it the right way, she's not. I mean, if she goes outside and just does a flip without even knowing, yeah, she's going to break something.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like our parents' mentality is like, why would you do something stupid? You don't know how to do it. Like you said, like, you don't know how to do it. Why would you do it? You have to challenge them to do something. That's why I like what Pedro said, because I don't let Layla quit. I tell her, like, if you're going to do it, do it. And, you know, just stick it out and see if you actually like it. And her having that 2-year break from COVID gave her that wake up call, like, I miss it. I like it. So it's a lot with, yeah, it sucks, but yeah, we all grow up with
Gymnastics isn't just physical strength. Also, I mean,
Mental.
it's mental because
It's
you
mental.
see the things that they're doing and like,
Yeah.
damn, can I really do that? Because, you know, anybody doesn't just know how to do a backflip or do the balance beam or, you know, the horse or the rings or any of that. They have to be able to mentally challenge themselves that, okay, I can do that. It's just going to take a little time, but it gives them that mental growth as well, not just the physical growth.
And you break
Yeah.
fears, because she was afraid of
Correct.
heights.
Correct.
And now she's like, nope, I'm diving in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go for it, as long as you know how.
Yeah. That's
It's a lot of growth.
it's a great sport to get kids into
Yeah.
because it builds a lot of character in them as well.
It helps a lot with your mindset, like you said, because you got to really take those risks and committing to some of those maneuvers, because it's huge mindset exercise, because like you said, you're not born learning how to do certain things, especially those kinds of flips and maneuvers. You really have to commit your mind to doing it, and you end up sticking it, and it feels like the most amazing thing. I think gymnastics is a great thing. If anything, I feel like we're just preaching to put your kids in gymnastics. But hey, it really did. I think it really did help with growth.
Support system. It really helps to have a good support system.
With the
Now
same mindset.
Now Layla will try to practice it, but it's like you said, you have to mentally be committed to finish whatever flip or stunt you're gonna do. Because if you tell yourself halfway there you're not gonna make it, you're gonna exactly.
Yeah.
And Layla has done that when she was learning how to do her back walkovers, mid-air, her legs are up and she's like, I'm not gonna be able to. And I have to go in there and dive to make sure she doesn't fall on her neck. So it's like, Layla, you're either gonna do it or take time off until you're mentally ready. And then she would be like, no, I'm gonna do it. And so it takes support also. And having a good team behind you really, really helps with your growth as well.
And then to piggyback on that, just like Taylor said, you really have to just believe in yourself, because if you stare at that beam and you're like, what if I miss, and start overthinking it, you're gonna do it. So you just have to believe that you're just gonna get the form right and just go.
Don't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Robert, from listening to us, I know he didn't thoroughly, but what do you think of what we're talking about? The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset? Does that apply to you in any way, or
I feel like I'm 50-50.
50-50?
Definitely 50-50. Hard 50-50. Like, it's bad. Because people give me feedback and I take it not only as like, okay, I'm gonna get better, but it also makes me a little mad. It's just like, come on. Like, yeah, it's kind of personal, especially because of the things that I do. I spend hours doing the things that I do a day because I want to get good at it. Like in the kitchen, I get good at that. And when Pablo, that new GM, came in, started trying to change everything and started giving feedback, and then everything started going bad. I was like, dude, like you can't give this feedback if you're gonna tell my employees that I train to do something bad, like do it differently. And then everything starts going downhill. And then it was a personal attack in my opinion. Because like I train these people, that's why we have such a good rating, that's why we have such good time, that's why we have such good sales. So why did you have to come in here and start changing everything like that? Everyone had that, all right, we're gonna get better mindset, we're good mindset. And you come in here and like shut it down completely.
And that's the
So-
fixed mindset that you have. Like when somebody tells you something, you take it personal.
Yeah.
And then from there, you just kind of like shut off. Yeah.
And that's how,
Instead of being like, okay.
yeah, and that's how the new GM Pablo was. That's exactly how it was. I told him, I was like, hey, you're doing this wrong. Like
Yeah.
these people are gonna leave you. And they're all gone now. That whole staff that I trained, the whole 12 people, gone.
I feel the same way. I hate math. The only math I do was calculate my commission. I hate math. And so I remember being younger and, oh my God, I would get like an 88. Dad, I got an 88 on this math test. That's good. Where's the other 12 points at? I'm like, oh, I just got a B. This is a high B. I was bad at math. And so getting that feedback, I felt like it was attacked. Like, you're not proud of me? Like, I suck at math. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
And so I would shut down and I just hated it and had that mindset ever since.
Yeah.
So now I just want to become better at the things that I'm like that towards.
Like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then see if you would have seen it, and if you had a different mindset, then you could be like, man, my dad is pushing me
Mhm.
to get those extra
If he
12
believes
points.
in me,
Yes.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
but at the time it's an attack, see, and you don't see, that how good that feedback could be for you as well. So, well, if there's any consolation, when I first got my real estate license, I love my mother, but she told me, well, how does that work? So I told her, it's by commission. Yeah, oh, that's not a real job. And I was like, really? And I still carry it with me. But I know that in her mindset was fixed on, you have to have a job that you go to every day, these hours, you gotta pay them. That is
9 to
her,
5.
yeah, and that's what she's used to, because that's how she was
She didn't
conditioned.
understand you.
No, she does. And entrepreneurship is not something that came from her. I learned entrepreneurship from my sister Soyla and my brother that had, that's who I learned entrepreneurship from. That they didn't want to be in this mold where I have to go to work and clock in and do that. They didn't want that. And I liked it. And my brother actually had a job and he had a company that he was doing. He did the moonwalk and table chair. So I learned a lot from them, and I learned from, so I kind of had conditions from multiple people in my life. But when maybe I took it at that time, I think I might have, I was like, well, I'm going to show you that it is challenge accepted. And here I am today,
I
20
think
years
she
later.
felt that way because my brother-in-law did have that side business where he would do, table and chair rentals and stuff. And then sometimes it was not, he didn't get any business. And the same thing with my sister-in-law. She was constantly working, but she did really well
She did really
in
well.
Tupperware, right?
She was
And
on
then
the top.
when she joined this other company, it was more of a struggle for her, but she's still in it. But she didn't get income where you could see it as this is going to be something she's going to be able to do and make good money off of it. So she saw their challenges and just went ahead and told her, that's not a real job. You're not going to be able to make a living off of that because it was only commission.
Yeah.
So, that was just her mentality of how it was going, because she was conditioned to believe that and think that. Once she started to see like she was really doing this full time and earning a living, never having to ask for anything, unlike some other people in the family had always gone to hers, but my wife's never done that. So she said, okay, well, maybe she can do this. Maybe she can make a living off it. But I think that was part of Erica's, I guess, her mindset was different. She's like, yes, challenge accepted. I'm gonna show her I can do this. This is something I can do, and it was just a different mindset that she put in for herself. But my mother-in-law we were old school. Some of that mindset back then is like, we can't do that. We shouldn't do that. No te subes porque te vas a caer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's
So
what I
you
was just
got
about to say,
Yeah.
because did you have kids already by the time
Yeah.
you- So, and that's the older generation's fear is like, how are you gonna maintain a child with something that you don't have like an hourly based pay
Mhm.
and you can't pay? And so I feel like a lot of the older generation is afraid to take a chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like, for instance, my dad was offered a really good job in New York to like run like a restaurant, and he was like, no, and I'm like, Dad, it's good, go. But he's just afraid. He's been with the company he's been with for like 30 something years. And I'm like, stop being afraid to do something new. It's gonna help you grow.
Yes, for sure.
And he's just like, no, I just don't. And I'm like, you're dumb. I would have left.
Do it. Travel, for sure. I think that's amazing. I feel like nobody gets to see me for everything. Hi,
Why did you just get back?
Yeah. So.
Half the time I was looking up.
Oh, no, you missed it.
I know.
But I gotta
I didn't get a
stop.
sock.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Where'd you
They're
start?
looking at gymnastics.
Hey, that's a
Oh, I can show you on toes. I don't have socks, but I can show you on toes.
Awesome. So,
All right,
well,
so-
before we go, we're gonna go ahead and hear from you. What did you think of the chapters? Because, I mean, you haven't heard, I know. But what-
We're just about to close it
I
out.
mean, it was interesting to know, the type of mindsets that you could have and how you can change that. I think I fall like in between both.
I think a lot of
Honestly,
people.
I have the characteristics of both, and obviously, I mean, I've always talked about with you about how it's just your mental, what you say to yourself says a lot. What you do is another thing. You can say all you want in your head, but if you don't take action, there's nothing that's going to be done. There's a lot of stuff, I guess, that that was interesting. I think right now she's more characterizing what one is and what the other is, and examples of them, and how the studies have gone and stuff like that. So I'm interested to now go forward and see what she says about changing those behaviors and how to make progress from there. So, because she's not there yet. At least I haven't captured that. So yeah. Hey.
are we gonna, I know we're gonna have to probably wrap it up here pretty soon. Do y'all want me to finish talking about some of these other things real quick, or did y'all want to move on to something else?
No,
No,
you can wrap it up.
we wrap it up.
Finish the last talking points he wanted.
All right, so one of the, I think there's a lot of real good examples in here about sport athletes. And one of the ones that always captivated my mind was Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player ever in history, above LeBron James, right? So what do you think?
I was saying, there's tons of videos on the psychology and the mindset behind Michael Jordan and like Kobe. Their mindsets are just crazy.
Yeah, that's correct. So I don't know if any of y'all know this, but the story behind Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was cut from his middle school team. He did not make it. You know, he didn't make it until he was in college. That's when he started progressing into being a great athlete. So could you imagine not having the opportunity to see Michael Jordan? I mean, that's just insane to me. That guy's like, I mean, he's the king of basketball to me, honestly. You know, there wouldn't be any Michael Jordan's tennis shoes. You wouldn't see this on the back of your shoes and stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the other ones that stuck to mind was McEnroe,
Yes.
Jim McEnroe.
Oh,
He was just brutal natural talent, number one. But he always deflected failure by blaming it on something else. He always said, "Oh, I didn't do any good in this match." You know, there was a match. Did y'all remember the match where he was up 2-0? And he said, and then the other guy came back and beat him 3-2. And he said, "Well, I failed because there was a news guy or a TV guy, and he took his headphone off, and I could hear the little ticks." Supposedly he was distracted, you know. He deflected failure as opposed from learning from it and embracing it and saying, okay, I need to focus more on me and doing this and doing that. There was also the other example where he thought he was just king, and because he felt so entitled, he would make people do shit, crazy shit, and he would talk down to them. You know, he would say, "Oh, I'm doing bad because of the damn sawdust. This isn't sawdust. This is fucking, you know, rat poison. You know, bring me back." And, you know, and they would do all this stuff. And one time he also talked to a news lady and talked shit to her. And then the next day, the news lady was over here handing him a gift, you know, and apologizing to him. That's fucking crazy, you know.
Mhm.
So, and then the other one that stood out that I really liked a lot was a football player for the 49ers. I remember seeing it on TV because he scored a touchdown and he ran it the wrong way,
Mhm.
you know, but he could have easily crawled into a space and just did like shit the rest of the game because of that. He instead embraced that and said, "I'm going to go out there. I'm going to learn from this mistake. I'm going to be badass the second half." And he did. He excelled in the second half, and he did a lot of good things in the game. So it overshadowed his mistake. The other thing that he did to even go further in that was he was getting a lot of hate mail, and they were laughing at him. And he embraced it. He goes, "Hey, yeah, I screwed up, but I'm doing all these things to correct that. And I'm being more focused during the games where I'm realizing where my side of the stadium is, my side of the end zone is, and stuff like that." So he grew from it, right? He learned from it and he embraced it. All right, let me flash through it real quick. Another one that she talks about was the number one violinist that, you know, was all the way to the top, and then they put her in a group of all these other orchestra folks that just excelled much more than her, and she's struggling. She's like, "I can't do this," because she was always used to success. And there it became a point where the orchestra teacher said, "I had enough of your bullshit. If you don't come up here with your violin," you know, because she was showing up to classes without her violin because she didn't want to fail. She was scared of failing. She said, "I had enough. If you don't come up here to the class, I'm cutting you. I'm done because you have a ton of talent. You know, she just didn't realize, hey, it's the growth process. She was stuck in her fixed mindset of, you know, all I see is success, success, success. And then when she's hit with failure, because she had to learn all this stuff, she kind of shut down. So it just kind of shows us that, hey, growth is painful. Growth is painful. And it's not just in the growth mindset, it's not going to be, you know, just rainbows and unicorns. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But that's the beauty of it. You hurt and you learn from it, as opposed to staying in that fixed mindset of saying, hey, I'm just going to be stuck here with success. Yeah, so quiet.
Okay, well then I'll add something to your Michael Jordan, just a fun fact. Here's what support does to you also, because Michael Jordan had originally went to Converse to try to do a sneaker deal, and Converse did not believe in him.
Mhm.
And so then he went to Nike, and look at it now, it's like a 3 billion collaboration with Jordan.
You can go back and say big mistake.
Yeah, it's the biggest mistake ever.
Converse did, yeah.
So imagine what Converse feels right now, because they didn't support or believe in his collaboration back then, and look at him now.
Yeah.
Nike has, I mean, his shoes go for
Yeah.
a lot. People
Nike
say-
is Nike because of Michael
Because
Jordan.
of Michael
He
Jordan.
elevated them.
too.
He
Yeah.
definitely
And
elevated.
whenever he went to Nike was, I think they had like the minimum like funds,
Mhm.
but they believed in Jordan and they believe in taking that risk. And I mean, it's like they said, you have to believe, and
Yes.
now Nike is very successful because of Jordan.
Yes. Well, before we wrap up, or his last talking point, I like to throw out a challenge. And I'd like to hear what Barney says after I say it from everybody. During the Barney from How I Met Your
How I
Mother.
Met Your Mother.
Oh my gosh.
Challenge accepted.
Yes.
So-
Challenge accepted.
So we have 2 more weeks until we meet again. I think that let's take what we've learning about the mindset, and throughout our 2 weeks, there has to be something that's gonna come up where we catch ourselves thinking in the fixed and how we're gonna change it. So as soon as you encounter something like that, journal it, write it down, talk it into your memo on your phone, something, because I would like for us to come back and open up next time to tell them, there you go. So I think that's a great challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
Wait, Alex, are you journaling for your 66 days?
Yes.
I am too.
I'm journaling or reading. So I'm trying to read a chapter a day, well, I'm journaling every day regardless, but I'm trying to read a chapter a day as well. And funny enough, I'm reading a book in Spanish to make it that much more difficult.
Challenge yourself. That's
That's a good challenge. That'd be hard for me.
All right, guys.
I mean,
got
I don't
three-
get the reading every day, but I do journal every day.
I got 3 things and we can wrap up. One of the things in the book that I want you to always remember, there's always gonna be a dragon, a dragon every day during your life that you have to slay. And it's gonna be bigger and badder dragons sometimes. Just remind yourself, stick in the growth mindset, all right? That's one of the things. Another thing that just kind of reminded me of a quote that Kennedy said, and I'm sure y'all all know it. When he said, you know, we don't go to the moon because it's easy. We go to the moon because it's hard. You know, so that was one of the things that also stuck out. And the last thing that I will close out with is, and this is very important. The view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. It could determine whether you become the person you want to be and whether you'll accomplish the things you value. So you get to pick your destiny.
Amen.
And I close with that.
Very good. I love
Mic
it.
drop.
Bam. All
I'm
right.
coming into the office right now.
Okay.
I'll see y'all in a
Have a
minute.
good weekend. And we
All
don't
right.
get to see you, okay?
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.